What's up, everyone, and welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. In today's video, I've got an interesting one for you guys. We have this package from Bureck. This is the Bureck CD thermostat. It clones the signal from your Chinese diesel heater remote fob, and it gives you a bunch of additional functionality. As it mentions in the name, this is a thermostat, so it gives you thermostatic control. It also has a built-in schedule, and it allows you to calibrate the temperature so that you get a very accurate reading. One more very important thing to say before we get into this video, and that is that I am not affiliated with Bureck in any way. They're not paying me anything to make this video, and I get paid absolutely nothing if you decide to purchase one of these thermostats. The way that I found out about this product is someone left a comment asking me if I heard about it. I didn't, so I did a Google search, came across their website. I sent them an email asking them if I could test their product, and they quite generously sent me 2 of these. They also sent me an email asking me for any criticisms or advice on how they could make it better. So it sounds to me like they are a pretty legit company. Let's take this out of the package and see what they sent me. This is my first time ever laying eyes on one of these. I fully expect that it is going to take me some time. Oh, they sent me one of each. Very cool. Or maybe what I'll do is give one of these away. That seems like a good idea. Now that I have the Bureck CD thermostat out of the packaging, I'm going to go over some of the features and benefits of this, say compared to your OEM controller or key fob thingy. This is going to be an overview. If you want more detailed instructions or a lot more detail about this controller, Bureck does have a few videos, including an owner's manual video, which goes into quite a bit of detail. This video should help you guys figure out if this is a product that you want to purchase or not. And then if you do purchase one, I would recommend going and watching their owner's manual video, which is about 20 minutes long. Let's take a look at this a little bit closer, starting with the case itself. I had assumed that this would be a 3D printed case, but it appears that it is some sort of injection molding. I don't know exactly what it is, but it has these hangers on the back so that you can hang it on the wall. This is a thermostat just like you would have in your house, except it sends an RF signal to your heater, so you can hang it on the wall of wherever you're going to be using it. It has a charge port on the bottom, which is USB. I forget what that's called, but it's a USB. It has a power switch on the side, 5 buttons on the front, and an LCD screen. The on switch is on the side. You flip that up to turn it on, and you are greeted with the main menu. Over here on the side, you can see it says the temperature. The temperature is currently reading 24 degrees Celsius, and that is because I had it hooked up to the charger. Bureck is very clear in their videos, all of their videos, and in their owner's manual video that the charger or charging the battery heats up the controller, and so this will be inaccurate while it is charging. And so there is a mode that I'll show you guys in a little bit where you can actually set it to turn so that you basically can deactivate the thermostat while you're charging it so that it doesn't turn your heater off. So along the side here we have the temperature that it is in the room. You have the set temperature. I don't know if the camera can see that there, but the set temperature is going up and down. Below that, we have the swing. The swing is the difference between the temperature that it is in the room and the temperature where you want it to turn on at. So currently, as an example, I have the heater set to 25 and the temperature in the room is 25. The heater's not turning on because the swing is set to 2 degrees. So it actually has to vary 2 degrees before the heater will turn on. So the temperature in the room has to be 2 degrees colder than the set temperature. So if I go to 26, the heater still doesn't turn on because I'm only 1 degree in the difference. 27, that is 2 degrees. If I go any more than that, at 28, The heater turns on because we've broken that threshold of 2 degrees. So now if I turn the heat down, 27, it's still trying to heat. 26, it's still trying to heat. But if I turn it to 25, it stops heating.
Thanks for using. I wish you a safe journey.
The reason why you want that is so that your heater isn't turning on and off every 3 minutes or something, and yeah, just turns on and off way too frequently. It's going to cause a lot of wear and tear on the heater. It's harder on batteries, and it can cause sooting in the heater as well. So up in the top right, we have the time, 13:20, and we have a battery indicator that tells us the state of charge. Then it tells us that we're in the main menu. The heater is off. So we'll get to that later. And the schedule, according to this, is on. So now I'm going to kind of walk you guys through how you navigate through some of this. It's kind of tricky to do on camera. It's not actually that hard when I'm doing it in person, but when you have to actually put what you're doing to words and then try to make corrections and let the audience know what you're doing, it gets a little bit more tricky. So in this state, when you first power it on, up and down will simply control the temperatures. Left and right will take you to your schedules. So you can set all of these schedules individually. Might go into that a little bit later on. So the enter button on the center, when you push that from any menu, it basically highlights an area, and then you can either change that thing by pushing up or down, or scroll to the next thing by pushing left or right, or scroll to the next thing or back by pressing left and right. The next part of the menu is actually quite clever, but unless someone explained it to you, you might actually think that it was redundant or downright silly. So I'm going to take a few minutes and try to explain it to you, and hopefully when I'm done, it all makes sense. This part of the menu is where you control the status of the remote, whether or not it will actually send a signal to your heater or not. We are currently in that part of the menu, and it says thermostat deactivated. What this means is no matter what the schedule says and no matter what the heat setting on your thermostat says, it will not send an on or off signal to your heater. No on, no off, no matter what this says. The next setting down, if we click down once, it says thermostat activated. Now the schedule and the setting on the thermostat will either send on or off signals depending on what the temperature actually is. You might think that that is all that is necessary, but there is one more clever thing. If you click down one more time, it says heater off. What this does is constantly send an off signal to your heater. And you might think that that's silly unless you have small children or a pet. If you happen to have a cabin or you're going to be away on vacation, some kid could drive their RC car by your house and turn your heater on, or somebody opens a garage door opener down the block, and the next thing you know, your heater is on and running for a month. Well, not if you have this, and not if you have it set to the off setting. That way it will continuously send an off signal. As a cat owner, I can appreciate this. The next thing on the menu is schedule, and it's either schedule on or off. So you simply click up or down, or keep clicking down or up, and it will cycle between on and off. Now that we've gone over the basics and the main menu, I'm going to show you guys the setting menus. There are 4 of them, and you get into these menus by pressing the up and down buttons at the same time. So the first thing that you want to do when you get your remote is actually not pair. Pair is not cloning. So what we're going to actually do is go to page 2, and if we click down 3 times on page 2, it says clone remote. So I've got the remote for my wheelbarrow heater here. I've never tried this before. I don't even know if there's a good battery in this, so we're gonna find out. Let's see. So I'm gonna click enter, waiting for code. So it's waiting for an on code. On code received. Wow. That's the first time I've used this remote, and that's the first time I've ever tried to clone anything. Okay, so now in order to test to see if this actually, to test it if this actually worked, if the cloning actually worked, it has a self-test mode, which is pretty cool. So I've got it on RF self-test. I'm going to press enter, testing, and there it goes. It started the heater. That is how incredibly easy it is to clone your remote. That is one of the things, when I saw the videos on this, seeing how easy it was to set up was one of the things that attracted me to it. I wanted to make this video because I think this is a really cool product. And I know a bunch of you have been asking me in the comments section about a product like this, or if your controller has features like this. And so this one absolutely does. Let's go back to settings 1, or the first settings menu. So the pair mode basically is if you wanted to control more than one heater with this, you could control 6 heaters or 10 heaters or 2 heaters. So what you do is you clone one remote, and then for the second one, if you had 2 heaters or 3 heaters, you would set up the pair feature on your controller. And then you would click on this, and that would pair with 2 heaters. So a bunch of people in the comments have actually asked me about that, using the Bluetooth app to control more than one heater. And with this, you can do that at the same time. You don't need to switch back and forth between turning one heater on and turning the other one on, and then setting the temperature on one and setting the temperature on the other. This is going to do all that. If you had 4 heaters, you can control all of them at the same time with one RF signal. So that is really cool, and I know a bunch of you have been asking me about that. They give you the control or the ability to turn failsafe off, but I would absolutely recommend keeping it turned on. They recommend keeping it turned on. If the battery gets low on the remote, it will power the heater off. In some circumstances, you may not want this to turn your heater off, and so they give you that option. But in most cases, you're going to want to set this so that if the battery gets low on this, it will turn the heater off and stop it from running, indefinitely till it runs out of fuel. The next thing is factory reset defaults, which is really handy because if you start messing around with this, you could mess things up. This will also mean that you have to re-clone your remote. We are now on page 2. You can set the units to Celsius or Fahrenheit. And then calibration type, we hit right and it goes to calibration point. There is single and dual calibration point. A bunch of people have complained about these controllers not being accurate. And even the new one that I have for the Bluetooth controller, it gives you 9 degrees of variability. This actually lets you calibrate exactly. So I'm not going to do this because I don't want to mess with it. But basically, you can calibrate this to the actual temperature that it is. And if you want to get really fussy about it, you can then go back to the 2 points. So how you would calibrate this is you would have a trusted device, a thermostat or something that told you what temperature it was. It says raw here, raw 99, reference 99. So this is defaulted so that at 99 Fahrenheit, it thinks it's 99 Fahrenheit is what it's telling you. So what you can do is change it to when it reads 99, maybe it's only 30 degrees. When it's 99, maybe it's 199. So you can basically offset it to whatever you want. If you set it at a single point, it is going to be very accurate within a few degrees, and it may vary when the temperature changes drastically. If we change it to 2 points, we can set it at 2 different temperatures, and that way it will be way more accurate over a wider span of temperatures. Page 4 tells you the version of the firmware. This is R1.02.05, and that is that. To get to the schedules, you can press either left or right. Pressing right will take you to schedule 1 and 2, and if you press right again, 3 and 4. and then back to the main menu. Okay, so we're going to go to schedule 1. If you push enter, it takes you to set the time. You set the time on here is the same way as you would on the clock. So you push up and down, and then you scroll over from the hours to the minutes. You set your time there. And then you push over to set the temperature, and then we want to set the swing. The reason why you would want to be able to set this separately is because if you're actually in the space, you probably don't want the temperature varying like 20 degrees. But if you're not there and you want it to be easier on the heater, maybe you have it swing 15 degrees between on and off. Then you can scroll down to turn the schedule on or off. And now we are set up. I now have the Bureck CD thermostat set up. The schedule is set to turn the heater up to 24 degrees Celsius. It is currently 22 degrees Celsius in here. To be fair, that's probably mostly because I had this in my hoodie pocket. It is 16:58, and when it gets to 1700 hours, the schedule will take over. Schedule 1 is set to 1700 hours, temperature of 24, swing of 1 degree Celsius, and it is activated. There we have it.
Start heating.
1700 hours came around. It changed over to the schedule, which set the temperature to 24 Celsius. It will warm up till it gets to 24 degrees Celsius, and then it will shut the heater down. To speed this process up, I'm actually going to hold the Bureck thermostat in front of the heater. All right, it's gonna turn 24 soon. 24, and it shut the heater down. Hopefully the camera can actually see this. The temperature is now set to 24, and the temperature is reading at 24. However, the heater's not turning back on yet. The temperature is actually going to have to drop all the way to 22 before it turns back on. And that is what the swing is. So
Start heating.
there we go. It dropped to 22 degrees Celsius in here. The Bureck CD thermostat told the heater to turn back on, and so now it's going to power back on. There you have it, folks. That is my overview of the Bureck thermostat control. This is a handy little device, and I know a bunch of you are going to find this very useful. I've had a whole lot of comments in a bunch of different videos of people asking for this exact functionality. So now there is a product on the market to suit your needs. After using the Bureck CD thermostat to turn on my Bluetooth heater, I noticed a bit of strange and erratic behavior. The Bluetooth controller has a smart mode and a level mode. The smart mode is where you set the temperature and the heater will try to hit that target temperature. And the level mode is simply you set it at a certain heat range and it will continue putting out that heat until it either runs out of fuel or runs out of battery. The Bureck thermostat seems to be sending a signal even after the heater is turned on that causes the Bluetooth controller to switch back and forth between smart mode and level mode. This causes the heat range to jump all over the place, and so this should not be used at this point anyway. They might come up with something that changes this, but at this time it shouldn't be used with the Bluetooth controller. I also tried to clone one of my other remotes, this fob here, and it did not work with this one. So I'm assuming if you have either the blue or black or red controller with the LCD screen on it, the Bureck thermostat is not going to work for you either. The next thing I need to mention that some of you will definitely care about is that the Bureck CD thermostat control does have a schedule, but it doesn't have a schedule for the days of the week or months of the year. Basically, you have 4 different times you can schedule and you can set a target temperature for those different times. You can't have this turn off for Wednesday and then on for Thursday or anything like that. It's a schedule, but it's fairly basic. They may upgrade the firmware so that it has more options in the future, but as of now, that's what you're left with. I kind of took a roundabout way of demonstrating this product to you guys, so I'm going to show you as we end the video that with the couple clicks of a button, you can turn a heater on, and that is all that is really necessary. Of course, you can set schedules if you want and have it turn on and off at different times of the day, or you can simply push a couple of buttons, and that will be that. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.